A very good afternoon to all of you again. We are joining again today to discuss some of the areas of project management, that is MMPU 002. We are into the block 2, which overall looks at project planning stage. Now, in that planning stage, in the last class we had seen the networking techniques, the two methods widely used, the critical path method as well as the POT, program evaluation and review techniques. Now, today we shall focus on the project scheduling aspects, or in other words, while scheduling a project, what are the things we consider and how we can smoothen the schedule of a project. For example, a project may be consisting of many activities. However, not all the activities will be going on at the same time. There may be simultaneous activities or single activities going at a particular point of time. Now, if certain activities are over, what we can do there? Whatever resources are left there, we can bring it to speed up, if possible, the forward activities or the successor activities. That means activities laying ahead of the activity which has already been completed. Now let us move into that. How we can introduce to this, what it is. First of all, the project scheduling. Now it is a process to ensure the timely completion of a project. From the very beginning we saw three important aspects of a project. One was time, second was cost, the third was scope. Now, unless and until we complete a project in time, it will lead to maybe cost overrun, or we may not get the maximum results out of a project. So whenever it is required, if we are not completing that within the time, then we are a failure in the project. Now, we had seen in the last class, in order to schedule the evaluation of earliest and latest times for the activities for starting as well as finishing are important. And we saw the calculation through two different rules. One was the forward pass rule, the second was the backward pass rule. So while going for forward pass rule, we try to determine the earliest starting time as well as the earliest finishing time of any activity by starting from the first event and moving on till the last event. And since we are moving from the first to last, we call it as forward movement or the forward pass movement. While calculating the latest time for any activity, either to start or to finish, that means can we have some kind of slacks? As we saw in the yesterday's class, we can have three type of slacks, that are delays, that is total slack we can have pre-slacks as well as the independent slack, that we calculate by coming from the last event. Taking the last event as the starting point, we come backwards to the first event. So that is important for project scheduling. Now, when we looked at a project yesterday, be it the CPM method or POT method, the project duration was the critical path duration or length. What was that critical path? A path with the longest duration. We called it as critical path because we cannot make any kind of delays in the critical activities or the activities falling on the critical path. Why? And the reason is it will elongate the project duration. However, any other activities not falling on the critical path may carry some kind of delays. That means you can hold back the activity to start by a certain time period. So, if we can identify the critical activities, then the project manager or we can give maximum attention or focus to that so that we can have the activities going on smoothly without any delays. So, looking at the time evaluation, looking at the critical activities, it adds a time dimension to the planning process. When we add time dimension to any planning process, we call it as a schedule. For example, we may be having or we may have gone to schools, colleges, etc. There, we are given a schedule first. That means which kind of activity means which subjects are to be taught when during a given period of time. So it is a schedule given to us so that we can follow it or the school will be following it and we can complete the project. It will tell us when each subject or activity will be taught. That means in which period, what period a subject is going to be taught in the school. Now, scheduling is used for determining project completion time. Yes, when we schedule the activities, we find through network analysis the POT CPM, the critical path. Thereby, we can determine what is the project completion time. Scheduling also tells us is the resources available. Now, resources can be either in form of time, it can be man, it can be machines, it can be materials, etc. So whether they are available in time or not. Now, if resources are a crunch or they are not available on time, then what kind of corrective actions we can take? Shall we add more resources from inside the organization if available? Or if resources it is not available inside the organization, shall we go for outside parties, etc. Then penalties. Now, if we do not complete a project within a stipulated duration or the scheduled time and cost, we call it as time overrun or cost overrun. That means taking more time as scheduled or more cost than we have budgeted for. Then scheduling also helps us to determine what are the various cash flows I can have. Now sometimes what happens during the implementation of the project, change of orders may come from the client or the customers. They may require certain change either in the scope of the project or the output of the project. So there the scheduling has to be changed accordingly. Or we can look at the old schedule and we can say whether the change of orders is acceptable or not within the prepared or planned schedule. Then, while doing scheduling, if anything goes wrong, who is responsible for that? Or, in other words, which parties are responsible? Is it the persons working in the activities? Is it the persons or the customers who have given change of orders, etc.? Can be determined easily. Now, how can we describe project schedule? What is a project schedule if we want to answer it? Then we say project schedule is the determination of time taken by activities, that means each activity, or the project in total, so that we can say that yes, the project can be carried out in such days or having such a amount or cost. It should be complete. That means all the activities included for a project should be presented in the schedule. We should consider all activities, otherwise the schedule is incomplete. Second is realistic. Now, a certain work, we know that whatever technology we have till date will take at least 4 days to complete. At least. It may take longer than that, but below 4 days we cannot complete. But if somebody says that you have to do it within 2 days, we don't have the technology, we don't know or have the know-how how we can complete it. It is yet to be developed. So we have to be realistic in the activities, time and cost while determining the project schedule. And third thing that we take into account in project schedule is it should be accepted by all. When we say accepted by all, the project manager, the project team members, the management, the customer should accept the project schedule before the actual implementation of the project starts. Now, for a project schedule, WBS, or in other words, work breakdown structure, is very important information. As we have seen in the earlier classes, work breakdown structure decomposes the total item or a major item into its small components. Now, this work breakdown structure, when we bring into a project fold, we say that yes, the project is the total thing. However, it consists of many number of activities. So, all the activities required to carry out the project should be included in the project schedule. So, information on work breakdown structure is very important. Now, when we have developed the schedule, it makes us the understanding of constraints. That means, are we having constraint of resources at any stage in the form of, it may be time, it may be the man, machine, materials, etc. Second is dependencies. What is dependencies? Now, should we depend on in-house resources, or we should go for getting help or getting resources from outside parties? And third is the sequence of activities. When we develop a project schedule, we use the network technique to draw the network diagram. There, the sequence of activities is clearly visible. That means which activity has to be completed before another activity gets started. So, all these things combine together to say what is a project schedule. Now, when we talk about resource scheduling, what it takes into account, that we shall discuss now. Resource, when we say, immediately it comes to our mind human resources. Yes, every activity will be requiring human resources, but it will be varying from activities to activities. Some activities may be requiring technical persons, some activity may be requiring the unskilled workers, etc. So, how shall we assign staff as well as other resources? Apart from human resources, we can have material resources as well as the machinery resources in the project. Now, how shall we assign the various staff and resources to various activities? Now, after that, we look into, is assigned resource adequate? Suppose uh, our project has a certain activity which requires 4 engineers, 4 civil engineers to be specific, but our organization is having only 2 civil engineers for the project. Now the question is the resource adequate? The answer is no. Requirement was 4, but however we are having only 2. So what is the way out? How can we go for that? Is there a need for outside contractors? So we can determine that from our scheduling process. Now, while scheduling, the path with the longest duration, we call it as critical path. However, some paths are there which are very near to the critical path duration. That means, suppose a critical path is having a duration of 108 days. There, we find 3 other paths. One is 106 days, another is 107, one is 102 days are there. Now, while scheduling process is undertaken, if resources are a crunch and we find another path, is it becoming critical? If it becomes critical, then focus along with the original critical path, we shall again be focusing on the new critical path or the new critical activities. Another aspect we look at is there flexibility in using the resources? That means, if resources are used in a particular activity and it is more than what is required for that activity, can we use that resource in some other similar activities requiring the same resources? Is there the flexibility? That we can determine from the resource scheduling. Next, is deadline realistic? Now, we have seen the project has a duration or a completion period. So, is it a realistic one? Can we actually complete with the given resources the project? So, that also we can have an understanding from the resource scheduling. Now, what are the various types of scheduling we have? We have one is time constraint scheduling, another one is resource constraint scheduling. Now, when I talk of resource, it can be man or machines. When I am talking of time, it is in terms of days, weeks, or months we are taking. So, what is a time constraint scheduling? Now, we find a project is getting delayed. That means during the implementation stage, we compare the scheduled progress at a given point of time with the actual progress, we find it is getting delayed. So what I can think of, should I go for some additional resources either from in-house or from out-house? Now, if I get additional resources from any source, in-house or out-house, then if the project is uh, going to be completed in the scheduled time period, now we know that we had a resource constraint. In other words, the time can be changed by using more or less resource. That means when we are getting delayed, the activities were taking longer time. When we are using more resources, then we are getting what? The project being completed in time. Similarly, man and machine are also sometimes a constraint for a project, because we have a definite number of machinery, a definite number of human resources in certain area which are working in the project, and the activities may be requiring a different kind of scenario. That means more machines or more human resources for an activity. Now, two things we have to keep focus, that while scheduling the resource, what we should not do. Now, splitting of activities is not allowed. Now, splitting of activities means if you say I have an activity which is taking 10 days in the original schedule. Sorry. In the original schedule. Now, I as a project manager will say that let me split that activity into two parts. One taking 6 days, another taking 4 days, and I will make it go simultaneously. No, the answer is no here. The reason is the activities we have put on the schedule are the basic activities. It cannot be further broken down. So splitting of activities are not allowed. Level of resources used cannot be changed. Suppose when we have gone for a project, we have 10 machineries in hand for the project. You will say that I will bring another 5 machineries so that work will go on according to the schedule. Now, this additional burden on the project, it may give temporary relief, but in the longer run, it may form a constraint or burden on the project. Now, we shall see through an example, a time constraint project, and how we can smooth the resource demand using the technique that we have. Now let us see the example. An organization has 5 drills available with them. The resource requirement is given below. All of us can see from the given data set, activities A to G are there along with their preceding activities. That means before activity A, no one is there. Before B, A should be there. Before C and D, B should be there. Before E, C should be there. Before F, C and D, and before G, E and F respectively should be there. Now, the activity durations or the time for each activity in days are also given to us as it is displayed there. Here, the organization has 5 drills available with them. Now let us see the drills required for each activity. For activity A, 5 drills are required. For B, 2 drills are required. For C, 4 will be required. For D, 2 will be required. Now E3, F3, G 1. Now we shall try to see whether the drills available with us, is it adequate to complete the project in time, or if it is inadequate, what we can do, that we shall try to look here. But before starting anything, what we shall do, we shall do a network diagram with activities on nodes, AON diagram. That means instead of events, we'll mark the circle areas as the activities. Sorry, I'll try to do the network here. You can see the first activity. Activity is A. Then we are having activity B. This is A. This is B. Please remember that this is a activity on nodes. We had 2 forms, activity on arrows, activity on nodes, that we had seen in the last class. Today we are doing the activity on nodes. A, B, then before C, B should be there. Put here C, then before D, B should be there. E, C should be there. Then we have F, before F, C and D should be there. Then we have G, before which E and F should be there. Now I join them up using arrows. Now here arrows are not activities. Now all of you see F is a merge event as C is coming here as well as D is coming here. Similarly, we have E also. E and F are coming to G. Now, this is the network diagram with all the precedence relationship I have. Now, below each of the nodes, I write the time. A, 2, B, 1, C was 4, D was 4, E was 7, F was 2, G was 2. These are the time duration I have put here. Now, I should determine the critical path now. In order to determine the critical path, what are the respective paths available? Let us see. One is A, B, C, E, and G. Another one is A. Now how we are determining the path? We start from the starting till the end without lifting our pen or without any breaks. A, B, C, F, G. Another one is A, B, D, F, and G. Now these are the three possible paths available to us. Now let us see how much time duration each of the path is taking. Now path duration is we add all the duration of the activities falling on that path. A, B, C, E, F, 2, 1, 4, 7, 2. It is 16 days. The second path A, B, C, F, G is taking 11 days. Last path also taking 11 days. So which one is maximum? 16 days. So this is our critical path. So A, B, we try to show it as double-lined arrows so that it makes a typical visualization catching. A, B, C, E, G is determining the project length. So this is our network diagram we are having with the precedence relationship by use of AON method. Now, I want to see whether the drills that are 5 in numbers that are available with us is sufficient on all days. If not, what can I do? Now I'll be answering that, or we shall be trying to get that answer by use of certain kind of charts and diagrams. Let us see. Now, the same thing, I have brought it here to the next slide. That means first, by looking at the network diagram, I'll try to show which activity are going on which days. If you can see here, all of you see the first A stands for activity. It is its duration in days, and this is the requirement of the drills. Activity A requires 5 drills, and it goes on for 2 days. If you go back to our previous slide, when activity is going on, no other activity is going on. It is going as a single activity. So for 2 days, activity will go on. Here I am showing which activity are going on which day. You can see for the first 2 days activity A is going on. Now, when we go to activity B will only start after A is completed. A is completed on second day. Now we can start B, not C and D, because C, D, E, F, G are after B. So here B will go on. Alright. Now consider C. C will be taken up only after B is completed. Now B is completed on the third day. Now we take up C and it goes on for 4 days. That means starting from the four days, all of you see, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. I've done like this. Activity C is going on for 4 days. After B, also we can have D, taking a duration of 4 days also. Right? Then we come to activity E, which will start only after C is completed. Activity E is present here. It will be started only after C is completed. How many days it is taking? 7 days. So it will start from here, the 8th day, and it will take 7 days. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now activity E is taking 7 days as visible from the Gantt or the bar chart. Then comes activity F. F will only be started after C and D are completed. So F can start from here. F can start from here and it takes 3 days. F is taking 3 days. Now coming to G, it is taking 2 days. Now, if you look at G in the network diagram, that means in the previous slide, G will only be started after E and F are completed. Look at the bar diagram carefully. E is completed on 14th day. F is completed on 10th day. We can say both E and F can be called as completed only at the end of 14th day. Because within that completion of activity E, F would already been have completed. So after E and F, that we take here the 14th day as the boundary, G will be done and it takes 2 days. Now all of us, please carefully look at the diagram. We had seen 3 paths A, B, C, E, G was our critical path having 16 days. Now, if you look at the diagram, you see A, B, C, E, G. They are running on a continuous basis without any delay. Right? Any other path, suppose A, B, C, F, G. A, B, C, F and G. Here you are having a delay. The delay I am putting as zeros. Similarly, A, B, D, F, G. Any other delay we are having? Yes. Here also you can make delays. Right? Sorry. Now, clearly you can see the critical path does not consist of any kind of delays. And the duration of the critical path 16 days is the duration of our project. Now, for this 16 days, let us look at what are the various sources required on each day. So, here we have to carefully look at the thing. Look at day 1. Which activity is going on? Now, activity A. When activity A is going on, all of you see activity A is going on the first day. It requires how many resources? 5. So this R stands for resources. Or we can say or number of drills, right? Now on the first day I am requiring how many? Now five drills. Similarly, let us look at the second day. Second day, A is only going on, that also requires 5 drills. As I have said, this is 5 number of drills that are available with us also. Look at the third day. Third day, which activity is going on? Now, activity B, which is requiring 2 drills. So, all of you see, first 2 days 5 were required. Then on the third day 2 drills are required. Similarly, let us look at 4th to 7th day. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. I think activity C here and activity D here. Both are going on simultaneously. C as D. Are you finding? C is going from 4th to 7th. D is also going from 4th to 7th. C is requiring 4 drills. D is requiring 2 drills. So, for days 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th, how many drills we require? Now 4 and 2, that is 6. So I am marking here 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Sorry. Yes. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, all of you see, number of drills required is 6th. We have availability of 5 now. We are requiring 1 extra drill on this 4th to 7th day. Now let us check for other days. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13, 14, up to 14, activity E is going on. Right? E is requiring 3 drills. Similarly, activity F is also going on 8th, 9th and 10th day. Which is also requiring 3 drills. Are you finding this? Yes. So, activity E and activity F are going on for what days? Na, sorry, 8th, 9th, 10th. They are also requiring 6 drills. Now, from 11th day onwards, only activity E is going on for 4 days. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. 11th to 14th. How many drills required for activity E only? Now 3. So here 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. Three drills are required. Now on the 15th and 16th day, activity G is going on. Activity G is requiring only what? How many drills? Now we can see now G is requiring 1 drill. So here I can mark it as 15th day and 16th day. I am having requirement of 1 drill. Now, how many drills we are having? Now, if I put a line on the 5th day, we have a line there. Also, I am putting a line. This is our availability. A for availability. Now we have 5 drills available. If we look closely on days 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, how many drills are required? 6 drills are required. Now on those days or this 4 to 10 days, that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we are having a resource crunch in the form of number of drills required to carry on the activities. Now, how can we do that? That is the biggest question in front of us. Now, here we think of 2 ways. Can we delay any of the activities so that, yes, we can have what we can say the resource crunch or the requirement is fulfilled? Yes. If we look closely, I take this D here and make it start here instead of doing it here. So what I do D here, and this will also start after D. That means for 3 days 1, 2, 3. Here, here, here. I taken F. That means I am making delay on D as well as F. So what will happen now when D comes to this 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 8th, 9th, 10th days, we are requiring 6 drills. So what will happen on 8th, 9th, 10th days? Now D will be working there in these 3 days. So the requirement is D along with E. That means 5 drills will be required, and this will fall to 5 drills. Similarly, F and E will be going on 12th and 14 days. 12th and 12 to 14 days. So that again will be requiring 6 drills. So now the question is, can we move this delays in such format without hampering the precedence relationship, so that we do not have a resource crunch, or we reach a point till where further no such delay option is available to us. So here we take the help of bar chart as well as histogram in order to smooth out the demand by looking at the charts in this particular format. If not possible, then the question arises, shall we go for outside sourcing? That means we shall source one more drill for the resource crunch day in the given 4 to 10 day. If the answer is yes, the cost may be higher because you are outsourcing from a outside vendor and you have to give it by the given time. The cost may be risen, but the project will be completed in the given time. However, if that option is not there, we shall have to delay the project. Similarly, we also have resource constraint projects. That means where manpower is a resource constraint. So here, since projects are consisting of large number of activities, it is very complex to get an optimal solution. What we do there? We use the heuristic methods. That means no scientific technique we are using. We are using the rule of thumb. One is a serial method. As you can see, activities are allocated resources until each activity gets some resources. The second one, or the most widely used one, is the parallel method, where resources are allocated on a time to time basis. Now, those activities which have already been completed, the resources available from there may be allocated to a future activity or the succeeding activities. And this parallel method is one of the most widely used method. So this way we can go for scheduling by using the time constraint method or the resource constraint. While using the time constraint methods, we take the help of the bar chart or the Gantt chart, as we have seen, and we saw there delays was not possible in any activities falling on the critical path. Similarly, we take the help of histogram to label the resources. That means, can we move the resources from a certain time period to another time period for the activities which are non-critical, so that we can make do the best with our available resources. So this was the topic, the project scheduling. We'll meet again. Thank you.